So welcome, Jonathan. I give thanks for your incredible leadership as always, my brother. And as always, we begin all things by acknowledging our creator, the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we share, build, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So Jonathan, please introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners.
Well, thank you, Victor. I really appreciate you bringing me on. And my name is Jonathan. I'm a former psychotherapist. I'm a former community healer, mentor. I work with families and youth for over 20 years. And I'm also the author of Unleashing Mind Power and a meditation teacher and creator of mindful programs and healing programs.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Yeah.
When I look at the back of your book, and I think your book is remarkable, Unleashing Mind Power, you state, when you unleash the magic in your subconscious mind, you'll have the power to remake your world. You'll discover that the same force that once held you back can become your best ally, protector, and guide. However, you must understand how it works, actually to do the work and commit yourself to mastery. If this is your passion, then you found the right book and at the right time. It will show you ancient and modern secrets for accessing the subconscious in a very practical, hands-on way. You'll learn what it takes to get the subconscious on your side, working for you. So the question is not, do you need this? The question is, are you ready? And I have, as a young brother growing up in East Toronto, Scarborough, we always used to say, born ready. So I'm ready to have a remarkable conversation with you, my brother.
You should come up with a t-shirt line.
Indeed.
Born ready.
Born ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear from you just in terms of what's inspiring you right now in terms of your work. You know, so many folks are navigating, post and pre-COVID inflation, all kinds of things, but I always like to hear what's inspiring my colleagues in this season of their life right now.
A wonderful question, Vic. I'll tell you what inspires me the most right now is getting this information out there to people and seeing them win. I mean, you just mentioned the climate right now is one of uncertainty, fear, stress, tension. I mean, you got inflation, wars, and so many things that's going on. But what I'm not hearing enough of, and what you're not going to hear on the nightly news, is the actual power that you have as an individual to create your reality and how your subconscious governs so much of your reality. Studies and studies have shown that it governs your moods, your behaviors, your thoughts, your feelings, your immune system, ability to heal. And we know with the placebo effect and the nocebo effect, it has the power to actually render medications useless and also, give you similar effects to medication. So these are amazing things your mind can do. But this is not taught in school. This is not, we grow up and we learn so much about the world, so much about what's happening and how to fit in and how to conform to the world at large. But we're not taught about ourselves, how our mind works and how to utilize our mind. I think if a lot of youth, children had that knowledge, had that ability and dedicated their time to developing that, you'd see a completely different world. So that's what inspires me. I really want to get this stuff out there. I mean, people, we talk about it, and I think people, they hear it in cliches, like, yes, my mind can achieve. If you think, if you believe it, you can achieve it, but they don't really understand how to do that and what that actually means. And most people actually don't believe it at all. Deep down inside, it's not a true belief at their core. I want to change that.
Ashe, thank you so much for your candor, transparency, and brilliance, my brother. So what challenges and barriers do you face in your work, and how do you work to overcome them?
Whew, man. Great question. Like, for me, it's challenging the old mindset, the old norms. People are caught up in old structures and ways of thinking. And it's almost like you're dealing with a brick wall. And especially when I was trying to bring this information to institutions who have people's ears, or they have audiences. but they're stuck in delivering the old ways of doing things, and for some reason just resistant to bringing in these ideas. And some of these ideas actually are not even new. Like in my book, it's ancient, they're old, so it's time, it's tested, it's something that has worked over eons of time, and it's now been harnessed and developed, unfortunately, against people in the form of advertising, you know, and fancy political rhetoric, because people understand how your subconscious works, so they can understand how to manipulate you for their agenda. So really, it's getting people on board who are decision makers, or who are have the ears of people to be open to some of these ideas, because it may not be trendy, it may not vibe with what's what the current wave of thinking is, right? And that's kind of being one of my battles when it comes to the sector and the field that I used to work at. And that's actually why I left that field.
No, I don't blame you at all. It's so challenging to navigate institutions that are so transactional when trying to do transformative work. It's so challenging to navigate institutions that are so focused on outputs, how many butts in the seats, how many folks serves versus outcomes. And there's a huge difference between outputs and outcomes. So definitely,
Right.
I empathize completely with
Right.
you.
Check this out. Check this out. They're in the business of change work, but they're not accepting of change. They're doing everything we want change in our clients that we serve, but they're not into the business of change.
Will never work. And systemic
Yeah.
transformation change is what's needed globally. So thank you for those
Mm.
insights, some actionable insights, I should say. So my next question for you is, in terms of success, what is your ultimate goal, and what does success look like and feel like to you in terms of your work?
If I would have answered that question 5 years ago, it would have been so different. But now where I'm at, success to me is really finding peace and being an ambassador of peace, to be honest with you. And at times that may look like being angry, or bucking heads with ideas or institutions or ideas, you know, but peace in terms of being really content with who I am, with my mission, my purpose, and without the validation or the need for validation from anybody else. That to me is like ultimate peace, because now I can be that energy instead of trying to attain it. Like I am that, and when I can be it, then I can manifest it even more. So really, that is success to me, is peace. Because at the end of the day, when you ask people, what are you doing this for? Well, what are you doing this career for? Well, because I can get money. Okay, what are you getting the money for? Well, because I want to, I want to get a nice house. I want to take care of my family. Okay, so you've done that, and now what? Well, now I can relax. Now I have peace. Oh, so you're really doing it for peace then? You get it? That's the real underlying goal. We call that the secondary goal. So just make that the goal then. Make that the goal. And that's what I feel a lot of wise men and women have tried to show us throughout time, is get clear on who we are, get clear on our goals, because our egos, or our the other lower self, lower part of us, will have its goal that'll always get us into trouble. But I always say there's another aspect of us that has our best interests at heart, and has real goals for us, knows what we want, which is peace, harmony, self-actualization, expression, creativity, all these things. So
that's inspiring and very poignant. I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks. You used a remarkable word. You used the word peace, but there was another P word you used: purpose. One of my youngest son's favorite artist, Nipsey, said one time, "Find your purpose, or you're wasting space and air." If there was anyone listening to this broadcast and they're struggling to find their purpose, do you have any insights, actionable insights for them on their journey, on that continuum to finding their purpose or actualizing their purpose?
you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention, and most people, they're not paying attention. They think they are. Their attention is scattered, or their attention is on, conditioned ways of thinking, escape, entertainment, or fear, or whatever. So if you think of your attention as gold, your attention is how you create reality. Then you need to pay attention towards who you are, what you love to do, what inspires you, what gives you passion. You need to pay attention to the signs and signals that your subconscious will give you in response to those things. So when you ask, or when you're following your path, there's little signposts, like you're driving your car and there are little signs that tell you you're going in the right direction. If you're not able to pay attention and to be extremely aware of these things, you'll miss them. I mean, you won't, they'll come back, and they'll come back more in your face. But, for example, I'll give you, for example, like I thought I should have had a career that fit the norm. I was trying to fit the norm, but everything about my path was not norm. And the more I tried to make it fit into the norm, the more certain things would happen, so that my path was just not the norm. But I still got to certain destinations. It's crazy. I was in graduate school, and I had to stop. Some stuff happened. I had to stop, and I was like, damn, how am I gonna continue to get into therapy? Because I really wanted to get experience doing therapy and being licensed. And I found myself doing therapy. I found myself being trained, right? Without having to pay thousands of dollars. I found myself actually helping other people who had gone to school for training and therapy, teaching them asking me questions. Well, how do you do this with families? How do you do that? I'm like, well, don't you know? And so I say that not to um, disparage the traditional route, but I'm saying that to the person out there who's listening, and their route or their path may not be what everyone else's route is, or what society tells you it should be, right? But you've got to pay attention to who you are. You got to pay attention to the signs that guide you along the way, and you've got to learn to embrace that. And every point along my way, I achieved the what I had set out to do. I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm actually doing this now. But I didn't need to go that other route. It got interrupted, but I still got where I needed to go. And I said, you know what? I want to be a consultant, because I love what they do. They just sit there and they're just training people, and I enjoy teaching. I found myself doing that, training people in the field. I'm like, how did this happen? How did this happen? It happened because my subconscious made it happen. But I was still fighting my own self, because I think I still need to get this traditional paper and get this traditional license. I think I still need to do this, and why. And everything was telling me, you've moved on from that now. There's other things, there's bigger things, right? And I'm saying that to say I was fighting myself. And when I came to having peace with myself and letting that go and embracing that, it felt like a whole relief, like a whole burden came off me. Didn't mean I didn't go through struggles and some difficult times, but that also built my trust. You got to interrupt me, because I'll talk for hours. So
No, no, no.
you got to
Listen,
keep me
listen, just
on.
to be clear. These are jewels, and the precision and your transparency and leadership is inspiring. And to be honest, I'm not interrupting you because we are at time. This is my last question for you. Do you have any closing thoughts or a call to action to our listeners and our viewers out there? Yeah, closing thoughts and a call to action.
I think I said it. You really have to embrace who you are at this time. All the parts of you, the part that you don't like, the part that you judge, the part that you thought was not good enough. You got to reclaim yourself. Ultimately, this is what it's about. No one can do that for you. And I know sometimes it's hard, but when you take that path to reclaim yourself, not only will your purpose manifest, your peace will manifest, everything just starts to fall in place. last thing I'm going to leave people with, it's from the book, How Your Subconscious Rules Your Behavior. That was a good book on the studies of your subconscious mind. And one thing they said in that book, which was really, really key, my book built off of that, expanded on that, but they said that your subconscious mind is designed to highlight your strengths and downplay your weaknesses. In all these studies, they've noticed that the way perception works, the way we take in information, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have survived. We would not have survived for so long. So in its natural state, it's supposed to highlight your strengths. It's supposed to highlight your wins. You're supposed to focus on that. You're supposed to talk about that. You're supposed to embrace that. You're supposed to believe in that. And it totally, totally downplays your weaknesses completely. Now, we could probably think of some people in the public eye who embody that in a really hilarious way, because they, they're very dramatic with that. I'm the best. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Everybody loves me. Everybody loves me, right? And people are saying, no, this person's an idiot. They're not, because they understand that principle. You look at another example, Muhammad Ali embodied that principle. He didn't focus on how great his opposition was. He focused on how great his potential was. And so that's what I want to leave people with.
That is absolutely incredible. Jonathan, I'm so grateful for the abundance, the great bounty and harvest and wisdom of this dialogue and this conversation. And we'll close the way we began, by acknowledging our creator, acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on, by acknowledging our ancestors, by acknowledging all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we share, build, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much, my brother, for all the work you do for so many.
Thank you.